So my favorite human, CEO of the NRA, Wayne LaPierre, recently appeared on Fox News Channel, Megyn Kelly's program. It's a daytime show, and he's going to have this interview, and we're going to break it down right now.
Fox News alert out of Connecticut.
Okay, first of all, how stupid is that Fox News alert thing?
That state now boasting the nation's toughest gun restrictions ever. This is video of Governor Dan Malloy moments ago signing the sweeping new gun limits into law. That new law bans more than 100 types of firearms, requires background checks on all gun purchases, and bans the sale of ammunition magazines that hold more than 10 rounds.
Damn right it does.
Some of those measures take effect immediately. Lawmakers approved that sweeping legislation in response to the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Many parents from Newtown have voiced support in favor of these controversial gun rules. Joining me now to discuss it, Wayne LaPierre. He's the Executive Vice President and CEO of the National Rifle Association.
The gentleman on the right side of your screen is about to have a very, very bad day.
And so the support for this new set of laws in Connecticut was not universal, but many of the Newtown parents got behind it, Wayne. And I want to ask you, because CBS has released to us a soundbite. On 60 Minutes, they'll be airing some interviews with Newtown parents who sat down with Scott Pelley. And this is, in part, why they believe they need these new laws, and they want, in particular, the limitation on the magazines, you know, the amount of ammo that you're allowed to carry around. Listen to Scott Pelley and a couple of the Newtown families.
The legislature has decided to limit the size of magazines in Connecticut to 10 rounds. The gunman at Sandy Hook was using 30-round magazines. Now, I've heard the argument made, you can change these magazine clips in these rifles in a matter of 2 seconds. So what difference does it make?
Well, I mean, there was one instance where it wasn't 2 seconds, and it allowed 11 kids to get out of the classroom.
Tell me about that.
It's just a simple arithmetic. If you have to change magazines 15 times instead of 5 times, you have 3 times as many incidences where something could jam, something could be bobbled. You just increase the time for intervention, you increase the time frame where the kids can get out. And there's 11 kids out there today that are still running around on the playground pretty much now at lunchtime.
Who escaped from these classrooms.
Right.
He left the smaller capacity magazines at home. That was a choice the shooter made. He knew that the larger capacity magazine clips were more lethal.
I'm going to give some props to Fox News, and I don't do that very often. But I appreciate that they did play that clip from 60 Minutes. And I can only imagine that half their viewers are like, well, that's liberal biased garbage. When in fact 60 Minutes is one of the few examples of quality journalism we still have around today. And so yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they played that. And it was very powerful and compelling, and it's something that, this is good programming here. Show that clip to Wayne LaPierre.
It's powerful to listen to. You know, those families directly affected say, if Adam Lanza, the shooter at Newtown, had not had 30-round magazines, if he had only had 10 rounds in these guns, more children would have lived. Your thoughts?
And so what Wayne's going to do right now, because he can't make an argument against that, is he's going to go on a rant that isn't relevant at all to what he was asked, to reiterate the NRA's position on gun violence in general. And that alone is an indication that he's wrong. He's just wrong. And he knows it, and I'll point that out later.
Well, I think the problem with what Connecticut did, Megan, is the criminals, the drug dealers, the people that are going to do horror and terror, they aren't going to cooperate. I mean, all you're doing is making the law books thicker for the law-abiding people.
Now, this argument is so stupid, and if you use it yourself, please stop. Let me just explain this to you. We actually have this problem in America today, in that there is a law that says you cannot walk around public naked. You can't go streaking. And so what happens is only the criminals go streaking, and they're not always the most attractive people. And so it makes it really hard on the law-abiding citizens like me, you know? And why have any laws? Because only the criminals are going to break them, you know?
And, I mean, from the very start, my thought has been how little this has to do with actually keeping kids safe and how much it has to do with this decade-long agenda against firearms that some of the political class and the media have had. What NRA is focused on is what we actually believe will make people safe, which is if you're going to stop something horrible from happening in a school, put police officers or certified armed security in every school. Fix the broken mental health system that's broken from one end of this country to the other. And the third thing, one gun or one round in the hand of a criminal or somebody mentally dangerous is too many, and we need to get that person off the street, interdict them, incarcerate them if they're criminals.
What a brilliant idea. Just put the criminals in jail. Why didn't anyone else ever think of that? We just lock them up.
Before they get to their next crime scene. If they're mentally defective, intercept them and get them off the street and get them into treatment. And that's what the NRA is focusing on, is things that actual work.
I appreciate that, and I understand you articulate your position well, but if I could circle you back to that, you know, because if there's anything that moves people in this country, or has moved them in one direction or the other recently, it is that Newtown tragedy. And you hear the parents and the spouses of those killed, so there were 20 children and 6 adults killed, say 11 children had the chance to escape as that guy reloaded. And the father, or the one man saying there, if he had had to reload 5 times instead of 1 time, how many more lives would have been saved? That is, to me, the most compelling argument. That is revealed in the most compelling way anyone has yet revealed the argument for this limitation on ammo. And I'd love to get your response.
Well, my response is that the criminals aren't going to have less. 1 round in the hand of someone that's going to do horror is too many.
But how do you know, Wayne? Because Adam Lanza, let me just jump in, I'll give you the floor, I promise. But Adam Lanza, you know, his mother was a legal gun owner. And how do you know that this person, that his mother would not have obeyed the law and limited the magazine clip, and then Adam Lanza would have been limited to 10 rounds instead of 30?
Megan, you could...
You just love the way he's wiggling around in his seat like that. Megan, you know, I came on Fox News today thinking we were going to have a good time and celebrate guns. I didn't expect this. I mean, I agree with you. I know you're right. There is no valid argument to be made for my position. But why do you have to highlight that? It's just, I'm here representing the gun lobby. I agree. This is a very common sense step that doesn't harm the Second Amendment in any way whatsoever. But, you know, there's money to be made, and I have to help those people out. So please don't do this to me, Megan. Please.
People that know guns, you can change magazine clips in a second. There's no evidence that anything would have changed. I mean, the fact is, if you're a homeowner, though, and you have someone coming through your door in the middle of the night, why should you be limited to 3 rounds or 4 rounds?
Idiot. Did you just catch that? He says, well, you know, you make this law and it's not going to change anything because the shooter's still going to be able to kill just as much. They're still going to be just as effective. And then what does he do? But what you do is you're hurting the homeowner because now you're making it harder for them to kill other people. It's like, what a contradiction. You have just contradicted yourself in the most revealing way. And it's just icing on the cake to this disastrous interview. I bet they're going to have a long talk with him at the NRA. So you can't handle Fox News, you can't handle any network, and we don't want to see you on TV anymore. What an idiot. And you understand what I'm saying, though? He's, like, attacking this law because it doesn't do anything in the long run. You know, they're still going to be able to change the clips in a second. Okay, a specialist can do that. I don't know any... and so what if it's only a second? A second makes all the difference when you're running for your life. 1 second's actually a long time in a situation like that. We don't have to go into the scenario and dig into the technicalities. The bottom line is, he's saying it's not going to make a difference, and then he's saying it's going to hurt the homeowners. Choose one, buddy. Choose one. I'm of the opinion that, yeah, it's probably a lot safer in society if people aren't walking around with guns that can mow down dozens of people per second. And you know what? I love how Megyn Kelly pointed out that he got the guns from his mom, who was a law-abiding citizen.
It's like Mayor Bloomberg wants to do.
What about 10?
I mean, the fact is the criminals aren't going to be limited. People want magazines for the same reason police carry 17-round magazines to protect Capitol Hill. You may need them for protection if something horrible is happening. Most robberies involve, a third of robberies involve multiple intruders. And, you know, people want them for the same reason police want them. The same reason the Capitol Hill is protected by them is why should you be limited to what some politician believes is reasonable?
Mm-hmm. I do want to tell the viewers that that the New York Times was reporting, based on interviews with the parents, that officials have said he fired Lanza 154 shots in about 4 minutes, and that the parents claim that they have been told that in the time it took him to reload in one of the classrooms, 11 children were able to escape. So that's from where I'm getting my information from. But I understand I understand your counterpoint.
Did you see that right there where he was like opening his mouth but didn't really say anything? He didn't actually have anything to say. He just wanted to make it look like he had a convincing argument against it. And I tell you what, if I was doing the interview right then and there, I would have been like, well, you want to say something? Go ahead. And he would have just been totally blank or said something stupid like, we'll put criminals in jail. So Megyn Kelly did a great job with this interview. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to say that about Megyn Kelly ever again. But I applaud her on this, and I will say I wish that I were doing the interview.
Wayne, and that's what I was looking for, and the viewers will decide on that. But I want to ask you, there's a lot I want to get through. Universal background checks, and we're coming up against a hard break, so we'll carry you over. But universal background checks, latest Fox News poll, 85% of the American people support it, including 81% of homes with gun owners in them. I mean, look at the across the partisan divide. 90% of Democrats favor it, 83% of Republicans, 82% of independents. Why don't you favor it, Wayne?
We supported the check on retail sales. We were promised it would be fair, instant, accurate. It's none of those. There are all kinds of delays. The mental health records are not in the system. Nobody's prosecuted. It turns out to be a speed bump for the law-abiding people. Now what they want to do is take this and extend it to 100 million law-abiding gun owners.
Yeah, and you think it's not necessary. My apologies.
One final word on all of this. You know, now there's something that has basically universal support. Everyone wants background checks, and he is told by the NRA to come up with a reason to oppose them. And doesn't it just look weird at this point? Isn't it just weird that they're so vehemently opposed to background checks and limiting gun ammo on magazines? Isn't that just weird to you? Like, what kind of world do they live in? And I'll tell you why. It is weird. They know it's weird. But it's all about the money. It's all about protecting the gun lobby. And I hate this, how he says, you know, well, one politician thinks it's reasonable. It's not one politician. And people do that with all kinds of issues. They say, well, the politicians are going to legislate. No, it's not. It's the American people collectively agreeing on certain things. And one of those things is, hey, maybe it shouldn't be a walk in the park for people to get guns that shoot 150 bullets in God knows how many seconds, you know? And then, you know, just one, on a lighter note, Fox News' stupid, like, rock and roll music, like, when they're going out, it's just funny to me that Wayne's sitting there like, and, Megan, and they're just, like, playing this rock and roll music, like, you know, to go to commercial break or whatever. It's just amusing to me. So, what an interview. Wow. Wayne LaPierre, crushed, and not even crushed, just asked questions and he can't answer them. He's making woefully horrid arguments. That's how I'm going to describe them. They're just absurd. And anyone who subscribes to them is brainwashed and is doing the gun lobby a massive favor. And not doing a favor for anyone who is in the interest of keeping this country safe from rampant gun violence. That's all.